Today's Sunshine Note is titled, Pride Goes Before a Plunge. Therefore, as God's chosen people, clothe yourself with humility. Colossians chapter 3, verse 12. I climbed out of my car and drank in a delicious breath of ocean air. The waves beckoned from just beyond a rustling clump of sea oaks. A smile swept onto my face at the thought of soaking up rays with no worries of studying or homework or test. Ah, summer vacation. Clad in my new bikini, I searched out the prime spot for sunbathing, a few strategic yards from the lifeguard's chair. I could sense him checking me out as I arranged my towel before heading to the water's edge. While I splashed about like some bona fide bathing suit model, my conscience nagged at me. Was I really tempting him when there were a million half-dressed girls out here to look at? This was the beach. Wouldn't God understand? When Mr. Lifeguard flashed me a smile as I returned to my towel, I was far too satisfied. I brushed off my guilt. The Alicia show was on. Unfortunately, this attention was soon thoroughly diverted by several bored, toddling surfers who had gathered around his post to talk waves. After too many minutes of scratching at the dried salt on my skin in self-pity, I headed for the shower on the nearby boardwalk. I needed to rinse off and perhaps drown out that gentle yet maddening voice of conviction in my process. Once I was soaked, I wove through the field of catamarans nestled in the ankle-deep sand near the dunes. I lifted my gaze from my feet just long enough to notice that the surfers had joined my admirer in observing my return. I decided I would toss my dripping hair and strut a few paces. As I held their glaze, I failed to see the rudder of one of the catamarans in the deep sand. The boys were looking at me, but suddenly I was looking at the sand. Yes, I had taken a YouTube-worthy nosedive right over that pesky rudder and directly into a full-on belly flop. A single Bible verse kept echoing through my mind as I lay there. Pride goes before a fall. Pride goes before a fall. Any pride I might have claimed fizzed when I extracted my face from the grit to see my hero rushing from his seat to dig me out. As I drove home, scraped up and dirty, I knew this lesson in humbleness would stick like those gazillion grains of sand to my wet skin. I realized that putting on humility, as well as some modesty, seems like a real drag, but it sure was a lot easier to wear than humiliation. Therefore, as God's chosen people, clothe yourself with humility. Colossians chapter 3, verse 12. May God bless you today.